Hello everyone, welcome to Nature Academy. This is Dr. Attahar Parveen, your faculty for Mathematical Methods in Physics. Short introduction about myself. I have been a woman scientist A during my PhD in Theoretical Condensed Matter Physics at Barkatullah University Bhopal and a postdoctoral fellow under Young Scientist Scheme of Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi at Central University of Hyderabad. I like learning and teaching physics, and I have about 5 years of teaching experience at university level. I feel that mathematics is the language of physics because we can't describe physics without mathematics. In fact, mathematics enhances the beauty of physics. Also, in present scenario of entrance and competitive exams like NET, JRF, GATE, DL and JL, mathematical methods are a strong tool for quantum mechanics, classical mechanics, electrodynamics, and statistical mechanics. We can expect minimum 6 to 8 questions in the exam from the CSIR perspective. This is a first lecture in mathematical methods, and I could have started with any basic topic, but I have chosen differential equations to start with because differential equations will be very useful in solving problems based on quantum mechanics and classical mechanics. If you learn this in my initial lectures, you will be able to focus more on physics part in your classical mechanics and quantum mechanics lectures. Instead of getting stuck in simple numerical matters, what I feel is when you are good at differential equations, you can concentrate and learn more of conceptual physics when it comes to quantum mechanics and classical mechanics. What is a differential equation? Any equation cannot be a differential equation. For example, if I have an equation x cube plus 4x plus 2 is equal to 0. This is an equation, but it is not a differential equation. I will write one more equation. For example, if it is 3x dx plus 2 into dy plus 5 is equals to 0. This is a differential equation. Why is this a differential equation? Because it involves differential coefficients. Here dx and dy are differential coefficients. Therefore, I can say that this is a differential equation. I will write one more equation. For example, dy by dx is equal to 1 plus x square by 1 minus y square. This is a differential equation. Even this can be a differential equation. D square y by dx square plus 4x dy by dx plus 6y is equals to 0. So these are the differential equations because they have differential coefficients. Let me take one more example. If dy by dx is equal to 2 into xy plus p into x square. You can see that this is a differential equation. And in this equation, we have two variables. What are the two variables in this equation? They are x and y. X and y are the variables in this differential equation. Y is a dependent variable. I will say that y is a dependent variable and x is a independent variable. Y is a dependent variable because it is depending on x. That is, y will change with respect to x. Whenever x is changing, y will change. But x is an independent variable because it does not depend on y. It no bother whatever the value of y is, x will not change. But if x will change, y will immediately change because it is dependent on x. One more example. If I have d square x by dt square plus omega square x is equals to 0. This is the equation for simple harmonic motion. Here x is displacement, omega is frequency and t is time. Here x is a dependent variable. It is not an independent variable like in the previous equation, because x is depending on t. X is a dependent variable at different values of time t, but t is not depending on x. Therefore, in this equation, x is a dependent variable and t is a independent variable. Therefore, in a differential equation, we have two variables. One is a dependent variable and the other one is a independent variable. We have two types of differential equations based on number of independent variables. They are the ordinary differential equation and the partial differential equation. In ordinary differential equation, it involves derivation with respect to one independent variable. Whereas in partial differential equation, it involves two or more independent variables and it has a partial derivative. It has a partial derivative, which is a very important point to be noted. Partial derivative, and it has two or more independent variables. For example, dou square z by dou x into dou y minus dou z by dou y is equals to 0. So this is a partial differential equation. And what is an example for an ordinary differential equation? It can be any equation which we have done till now. All those were ordinary differential equations. Now one more example for partial differential equation can be x into dou u by dou x plus y into dou u by dou y is equal to sum p into u. Now differential equations are classified based on order and degree. Now what is order and what is degree? For a differential equation, the order of the highest order derivative present in the differential equation will be the order of the differential equation. I will write an example for you. See, if you have sin x d square y by dx square plus cos x into dy by dx whole square minus phi y is equal to cot x. Here you can see that the highest order derivative present in this differential equation is d square y by dx square. This is the highest order derivative. You have one more derivative in the equation, which is dy by dx, but the order for this is 1. But for the other derivative, which is d square y by dx square, the order for this is 2. So the order of the entire differential equation will be the order of the highest order derivative present in that differential equation. So the order for this differential equation will be 2, because the highest order derivative order is 2. I will give you one more example to make you understand more clearly. We have 1 plus dy by dx whole square, and there is a whole cube for this entire expression. This is equal to d square y by dx square whole square. Now we have two derivatives in this equation. One is dy by dx and the other one is d square y by dx square. So we are looking for the order. Though we have 3 here in the power, we are not bothered of the power. Of course, we are bothered of the power, we'll come to it later. But right now, to find the order, we are not bothered about the power of the derivative. We are bothered about the order of the derivative. Though there is a cube here for dy by dx, the order will be the order of the highest order derivative. And the highest order derivative in this equation is not dy by dx. It is d square y by dx square. So the order of this differential equation will be 2 only. Now coming to the powers. Actually, when we talk about this powers and exponent, we call it degree. What is degree means? It is the exponent or power of highest order derivative in a differential equation. For example, if I have d cube y by dx cube whole square plus 2 into d square y by dx square whole cube plus 3 into dy by dx is equal to y. Now in this equation, I have three derivatives. One is d cube y by dx cube, other is d square y by dx square, and the other one is dy by dx. Now what is my aim is to find the degree, I have to see the highest order derivative and its power. The highest order derivative was the order. Now to find the degree, I have to see the power of the highest order derivative. The highest order derivative in this differential equation is d cube y by dx cube. Therefore, my degree will be the power or the exponential of the highest order derivative. And what is it here? It is 2. So, my degree will be 2. And what will be the order for this differential equation? The highest order derivative is d cube y by dx cube. Therefore, the order will be the order of the highest order differential equation. Now, there is a condition to find a degree of a differential equation. The condition is that your powers of the derivative should be whole numbers. They can't be fractions. If it is a fraction, then you cannot find the degree of that differential equation easily. For example, if I give you one equation d square y by dx square whole to the power 3 by 2 plus dy by dx plus y is equals to 0. Now, the order of this differential equation will be simple, isn't it? Because the highest order derivative is d square y by dx square. Therefore, you can write order as 2. But what will be the degree of this differential equation? To find the degree, what you are going to do? You have to remove the fraction from the power of the derivative. For that, what you can do? You first multiply here. In this equation, you multiply the powers with 2. If you multiply the power with 2, then your equation will become d square y by dx square whole cube plus dy by dx whole square plus y is equal to 0. Now in this case, your powers have become whole numbers now. Now it is very easy for you to find the degree of the differential equation. Which is the highest order derivative? The highest order derivative is d square y by dx square. And what is the power of that highest order derivative? It is 3, which is a whole number now. Therefore, our degree will be 3 for this differential equation. One more example. If you have an equation like this, d square y by dx square whole raised to 3 by 2 plus dy by dx whole raised to 5 by 3 plus 3y equals to 0. Now what will you do if you have an equation like this? Here you know that the order is 2. It is very clear because the highest order derivative is d square y by dx square. So the order will be 2. But then what about the degree? Here you cannot just multiply any number and you cannot remove the fraction just like that. To remove the fraction in this particular differential equation, you will have to take LCM. LCM of the two denominator numbers in the power. And what are they here? You have to take LCM for 2 and 3 here. It will be 6. Now you can easily remove the fraction from the power of this particular differential equation. D square y by dx square whole raised to 3 by 2. 2 gets cancelled by 6. It will be 3 by 2 into 6. So 2 ones are 2 threes are plus dy by dx whole raised to 5 by 3 into 6. 3 ones are 3 twos are plus 3y raised to 6 equals to 0. So what does the differential equation now become? It became d square y by dx square whole raised to 9 plus dy by dx whole raised to 10 plus 3y raised to 6 is equals to 0. Now this differential equation is ready to be found for the degree. You can easily find the degree. Here one thing may be confusing, that your d square y by dx square power is 9 and dy by dx power is 10. Though you have 10 here for dy by dx, this is not the degree, because we are bothered about the highest order derivative. The highest order derivative is d square y by dx square, and the power of this highest order derivative is 9. Therefore, the degree of this differential equation will be 9. Now I will give you one more example. You have to find it by yourself. This is the equation: x square into d square y by dx square whole cube plus y into dy by dx whole raised to 4 plus y raised to 4 is equals to 0. This one, take it as a do it yourself sum and find the order and degree of this differential equation and mention in the comment section. I will be very happy to know your answers. In this differential equation chapter, our aim is always to find the solution of the given differential equation. Of course, our aim could also be to find something else also, but to find that something else, we need the solution. Finding the solution of the differential equation will be our first step every time. Only after finding the solution of the differential equation, we can proceed for whatever the question is asked. But what is the meaning of this solution of a differential equation? We will understand what is the meaning. See, for example, if I have a differential equation, y is equals to a cos x plus b sin x. Now differentiate this equation both sides. If you differentiate both sides, you will get dy by dx is equal to a into differentiation of cos x will be minus sin x plus b into differentiation of sin x will be cos x. Or I can write this one also as dy by dx equal to minus a sin x plus b cos x. Differentiate it again. If you differentiate this equation again, your dy by dx will become d square y by dx square. This one will be equal to minus a into differentiation of sin x is cos x plus b into differentiation of cos x is minus sin x. Now my d square y by dx square will become, if I take minus common, a cos x plus b sin x. Now see carefully, my a cos x plus b sin x is y. So I can write it as d square y by dx square equal to minus y. Because this is what we have in the equation, y. Now I can also write this as d square y by dx square plus y is equals to 0. Now we have got a differential equation of order 2. And how did we get this differential equation? We got this differential equation with this equation y is equals to a cos x plus b sin x. That means if I substitute the value of y here, this equation should satisfy with that value of y. Isn't it? So if a given differential equation satisfies with that equation, it means that the equation is the solution of the differential equation. Now what is very much interesting here is that you can either find differential equation by one equation, or you can find the solution of the differential equation. Both are one and the same. You got y by doing differentiation, or you do differentiation and you get y. Both these equations, this equation 1 and this equation 2, they can be interchanged as question and answers, because one is the solution and one is the differential equation. Or in other words, if I want to say, if I have dy by dx equal to f of x comma y, then my y is equal to f of x is the solution for dy by dx. An equation which contains dependent variable y and independent variable x and is free from derivative, which satisfies the differential equation, is called its solution. See here, this equation y is equals to a cos x plus b sin x is free from derivative. It does not have any derivative. That's why you can say that this is the solution for this differential equation d square y by dx square. This is having a derivative. So this becomes a differential equation and this becomes a solution for this differential equation. Now we can have 5 types of first order, first degree differential equation. Actually, you can have any number of orders and any number of degrees differential equation. But here for us, what matters is from the first order, first degree differential equation. We have 5 types in it. The first one is the variable separable differential equation. Variable separable differential equation. And the second one is linear equation of first order. And the third one is Bernoulli's equation. The fourth one is homogeneous differential equation. And the fifth one is exact differential equation. Now, among these 5 types, which is the most important one is the variable separable differential equation. I have seen many questions in the previous year question papers also. Not only in CSIR, GATE and your university exams, so it is compulsory that you have one question from variable separable differential equation. And the second most important is the linear equation of first order. So they will give you equation, you have to decide which method to use, either variable separable or linear equation. You have to decide the method and then you have to solve the given equation. Now from variable separable type, they will ask you direct question. You can directly solve the differential equation and some basic conditions or boundary conditions or initial conditions will be given. For example, they may give you x is equals to 0 and t is equals to some 10 seconds. If you know the procedure, you can directly solve this differential equation. And in a linear differential equation of first order, they will ask you indirect questions. That means you have to construct the differential equation using the given details. You have to construct it. Now, for example, they may ask you to construct a equation in quantum mechanics or classical mechanics. Like for example, some problems involving velocity and acceleration, or problems involving tension of a string. In this type of problems, first you have to construct a differential equation, then you have to solve it. After constructing a differential equation, you have to decide to use variable separable differential equation method or the linear differential equation method. It's up to you. You have to decide, and of course it will be very easy to decide once we do these examples. So I am not going to focus much on Bernoulli's homogeneous and exact differential equations. Bernoulli's equation they have not asked till now any time, but you never know, they may ask this time. And homogeneous differential equation and exact differential equations, one or two problems are very rare they have asked, but they have asked, okay. But what is most important is variable separable differential equation and linear differential equation of first order. So I will focus much on variable separable and linear equations. Of course, I will solve problems from the other three also, but we will focus much on that because those are the most important topics here. Let us start with variable separable differential equation. Now this is the most easiest and most important method, I must say. Now, if a differential equation can be written in the form f of y into dy is equal to phi x into dx, then we can separate variables easily and we can solve the differential equation. That is, you have y in the left hand side and x on the right hand side. Then we get the solution by integrating both sides. Only this is simple. Now what will be the working rule? Working rule means method. I will use this phrase every time for all the 5 types, or maybe in future also whenever needed. So it makes things clear and we can remember easily. So the working rule, whenever you have variable separable differential equation, step 1 will be first separate the variables. That means if you have some differential equation is given, you have to make it in this form that you have y in the left hand side and you have x in the right hand side. So you write it as f of y into dy is equal to phi of x into dx. Now your step 2 will be step 2 will be integrate both sides. Integrate the above equation both sides. That means you can write it like this: integral f of y dy is equal to integral phi x dx. And the most important thing is that you have to add a integration constant very, very important, because sometimes they will ask you to find answer in terms of c. In that case, initial conditions will be given. So I will write it as step 3. Your step 3 is find the value of c if asked, actually. So if you are told to do so, you have to find the value of c, or if you require the value of c in your final answer, then also you have to find the value of c. So step 3 is optional, you have to decide by yourself. So these 3 steps you have to keep in mind, which is the working rule for variable separable differential equation. So the first thing is you just separate the variables into left hand side and right hand side. Put the like terms, maybe y on the left hand side and x on the right hand side, or vice versa, it's your wish. And then in step 2 you integrate both sides and then you add the integration constant and then find the value of this integration constant c using the given initial conditions if they are given. I will give you an example for variable separable differential equation. My first example will be based on Newton's law of cooling. Now what does this Newton's law of cooling says is, it will be giving you one differential equation that predicts the cooling of a warm body which is placed in a cold environment. How that warm body will cool in that environment is told by a differential equation. And what does the differential equation say? The differential equation says that rate at which the temperature of the body decreases means dt by small t. The capital T is the temperature of the body and the small t is the time. So the differential equation says that the rate at which the temperature of the body decreases is proportional to the difference in temperature between the body and the environment. I can write T minus TE. T will be the temperature of the body and TE will be the temperature of the environment. So the rate at which the temperature of the body decreases is proportional to the difference in temperature between the body and its environment. Now if I have to remove this proportionality constant, how do I do? I write dt by dt is equals to some constant. It will be minus r here into T minus TE. Now at this point, we should get in mind that this differential equation is a variable separable differential equation. Why? Because you can easily separate the variables. That is what we were talking on till now. We can easily separate the variables into in left hand side and right hand side. We can put the like terms here. So I will use this variable separable method here. So step 1 will be separate the variables. That means I will write 1 by t minus te. I will take t minus te on the left hand side and I will have this derivative dt along with it, so that it will be easy for me to integrate. This one will be equal to minus r into dt. So minus r is a constant, so I don't need to worry much about it. Now the second step. The second step was integrate both sides. After doing the separation of the variables, I will have to integrate both sides. That means integral 1 by t minus te dt will be equal to integral minus r dt. Here you can write integral 1 by x dx is equal to log x. So same thing I can write it here for integral 1 by t minus te, and of course my integral dx will be x. So therefore I can write integral dt as t. So here integral 1 by t minus te will become log t minus te. Now minus r is a constant, I will take it outside, and integral dt will become t, and of course I have to add the integration constant. Whenever you have log, how can you get rid of it? If you have log in the left hand side, put it in the right hand side so that it becomes exponential after going the right hand side, because log and exponential are inversely proportional. So you can get rid of log easily by putting it in the right hand side. I am going to do the same. T minus te will become exponential minus rt plus c, or you can also write it as t minus te is equals to e raised to minus rt plus c. Now I will put this te in the right hand side because I want to find the value of t. This will be equal to te plus e raised to minus rt into e raised to c. I can write this e raised to c as a constant because see, I know that c is a constant. So e raised to c will be a constant, or log c will be a constant. For that matter, if I add any constant to this c, then also it will be a constant. Only thing is I cannot use any variable to have this operation with c. Unless and until I am using the variable, this c is going to be a constant if I operate it with any of the constants. So I will write it as a here. So my value of t will be te plus a into e raised to minus rt. So this will be the solution for this differential equation. So this is how we can use variable separable differential equation. I will give you one more example. This time let us take an example of a Schrodinger equation. So what does it say? We have IH cross dou psi by dou t is equal to E into psi. Here some boundary conditions will be there. At t is equals to 0 and psi is equal to psi naught. Now this is a first order, first degree variable separable differential equation. We can clearly see that we can separate the variables here. So let us start working out and then we can understand it more easily. So our step 1 was to separate the variables. Here we have psi. So separate psi on left hand side and put a t on right hand side. So how can you do it? You can do it by dou psi by psi equal to E by IH cross into dou t. Or you can also write dou psi by psi as, I will just multiply and divide by I on the right hand side. So that I will get I into E by I into H cross dou t. Now why did I do this is, I have I into I. Now this I square will become minus 1. I into I will become I square and I square is minus 1. So what will my equation become now? Dou psi by psi will be equal to minus IE by H cross dou t. Now let us do our step 2. Step 2 is integrate this above equation both sides. Now if I integrate this equation both sides, I am going to get integral dou psi by psi is equal to integral minus IE by H cross dou t. Now I know that integral 1 by psi will be log psi. So I will substitute that here. So integral dou psi by psi will become log psi. This one will be equal to minus IE by H cross are constants. So I removed them outside, and in my right hand side I will have integral dt, and integral dt will become t. So that I will write it here, and I will add a integration constant. Let me put it as equation 1. Now I can find the value of this integration constant c using the initial value. The initial value at t is equals to 0 and psi is equals to psi naught. I can substitute that value here to find the value of c. So substitute t is equals to 0 and psi is equals to psi naught in 1. You have log psi naught is equal to minus IE by H cross into 0 plus C. Now this entire expression is going to become 0. Therefore, the value of C will be log psi naught. Now put this value of C in that equation. So that equation was log psi equal to minus IE upon H cross T plus C. Now we got value of C as log psi naught. I will put it here. So log psi will be equal to minus IE by H cross into T plus log psi naught. Now to remove this log, the simple thing what I can do is take log terms one side, then again put that log in the right hand side so that it becomes exponential. So my log psi minus log psi naught will become minus IE by H cross into T. Now I can take log common. It will be psi minus psi naught. There is a rule that if you have log A minus log B, then you can write it as log of A by B. I am going to use that rule here. It will become psi by psi naught equal to minus IE by H cross into T. Now put the log in the right hand side so that it becomes exponential. You get psi by psi naught is equals to e raised to minus IE by H cross T, or psi is equals to psi naught e raised to minus IE by H cross T. If I want to find it at some value t with the initial condition given, I can write it as psi t is equals to psi naught e raised to minus IE by H cross T. Now this is the equation at t. So in this way, by separating the variables and integrating both sides, and then after finding the value of c using the initial conditions if given, then finally by substituting this value of c, we can find a solution for first order, first degree variable separable differential equation. Okay, so these were the examples based on physics. So we are physics people and we like to work on physics even while doing mathematics, isn't it? Okay, now let us move on to sums based on the mathematics. The next question is solve e raised to dy by dx is equal to x plus 1. Given the initial conditions are given, y is equal to 3 at x is equal to 0. The same initial condition can also be given in other way. It can also be given as y of 0 is equal to 3. They mean to say that this value of x is equals to 0. When value of x is equals to 0, value of y will be 3. The same thing they have written in two way. We have to understand this. We have to understand whatever the way they have given, we have to understand the initial conditions. Now to solve this differential equation, let us start with our first step. What is our first step? First step, we have to separate the variables. But this equation is not ready to separate the variables because we have exponential in the left hand side. So whenever you have exponential in the left hand side, you can just take log both sides and get rid of the exponential because it will get cancelled with the log as they both are reciprocal. Isn't it? If you draw a graph also, if you have a graph like this for your exponential, your log graph will be like this because they both are inversely proportional. So they get cancelled. And same thing you can do when you have log also. If you want to get rid of the log, you can use this exponential concept. Now take log both sides. If you take log both sides, you will have log e raised to dy by dx is equal to log x plus 1. Now this differential equation can be easily solved because now my log will get cancelled. Now this log and this exponential will cancel. So my differential equation will be dy by dx is equal to log x plus 1. Now this has become very easy now. I can easily separate the variables and do my step 1. So the step 1 will be separating the variables. That means I can write dy is equal to log of x plus 1 into dx. Now do for step 2. Step 2 was integrate both sides. So integral dy is equal to integral log x plus 1 into dx. Left hand side it becomes easy for me. It will become y. But for the right hand side, this is in the form 1 into log x plus 1 into dx. So to integrate this type of equation, you need to do integration by parts. Here you have u is equal to log x plus 1 into dx because this is in the form v dash into u. So integral v dash into u will be equal to uv minus integral vu dash. So I took u as log x plus 1 into dx. So my u dash will become, I have to differentiate it. So log x will be 1 by x. So it will be 1 by 1 plus x. Now I have v dash given in the question, that is 1. So to find v, I have to integrate now. V will be equal to integral v dash. This one will be equal to integral 1 into dx, or my v will be x. So I have u given in the question with which I found u dash. I have v dash given in the question with which I found my v. Now I can easily find the value of this integral equation. So my y will be equal to, I have to write u into v, which will be log x plus 1 into x minus integral v is x and u dash is 1 by x plus 1 into dx. So this one will be dx. Now y is equal to x into log x plus 1 minus, to make things simpler, what I am going to do is, I will add and subtract 1 in the numerator. It will become x plus 1 minus 1 by x plus 1 into dx. So my y will become, see here, what does this become now? X plus 1 by x plus 1 will get cancelled here. And what will be remaining? Minus 1 by x plus 1. So x log x plus 1 minus, I can write it as integral 1 into dx minus integral 1 by x plus 1 into dx. This one will be equal to x log x plus 1 minus 1 into dx. If I take the integration, I will get it as minus x. Now I will write it as minus into minus plus. This is like 1 by x. Integral 1 by x is log x, isn't it? So I will write it as log x plus 1. Of course, I will have to add the integration constant c. Now this is my equation. I can use the given boundary conditions and I can find the value for y now. Now I can substitute the values of the given initial conditions and then I can find the value of c. Later again I can substitute it and find the value of y also. So let me do it. Y is equals to x log x plus 1. Okay, I will take x plus 1 common now. So y is equal to log x plus 1 into x plus 1 minus x plus c. Now put x is equals to 0 and y is equals to 3. So 3 will be equal to, if I put x is equals to 0, I will get log 1 and log 1 is 0. So this entire expression will become 0 now because log 1 is 0 minus x is 0 plus c. So my value of c became 3. Now substitute this value in this equation 1. You get y is equal to log x plus 1 into x plus 1 minus x plus 3. So this is the required solution for the given differential equation. So this is how you can use the initial conditions and find the values also. The next question is solve e raised to y plus 2 into sin x dx minus e raised to y cos x dy is equals to 0. And you have the options. I would specifically like to give the options for this type of question because by seeing the options you get an idea. You can have solution for this type of equation in many ways actually. But if you have options, you can decide which one to write as the solution. So these are the options. The first one is cos x e raised to y plus 2 is equals to c. Option B is secant x e raised to y plus 2 is equal to c. Option C is e raised to y plus 2 is equals to cos x minus c. And option D is e raised to y plus 2 plus cos x is equals to c. Let us start with our step 1 by separating the variables first. So our step 1 was separating the variables. For that what we do? We can write sin x. I will take cos x in the left hand side. First I will put that expression on the right hand side and again I will take back here as denominator. So sin x by cos x into dx can be written as e raised to y by e raised to y plus 2 into dy. Now this one will be equal to tan x into dx equal to e raised to y by e raised to y plus 2 into dy. Now you can do the step 2. Integrate this above equation both sides. So you get integral tan x dx equal to integral e raised to y by e raised to y plus 2 into dy. See here, this is in the form integral, the right hand side thing, it is in the form integral f dash x by f of x. That means if you differentiate then you are going to get its answer as the numerator. See here, if you differentiate e raised to y plus 2, if you differentiate it d by dy, you will get e raised to y in the answer. So if you have this form of equation, then you can easily integrate it. This one will be equal to log f of x plus c. So same thing I am going to do here. And I know that integral tan x dx will be equal to log of secant x dx, or I can also write log of secant x dx as log of 1 by cos x, isn't it? And I know that log of 1 by cos x can be written as log 1 minus log cos x. Log 1 is 0. So I will have minus log cos x. So my log secant x is equal to minus log cos x. So let us keep this in mind and proceed. I can write here integral tan x. I can write now two things for integral tan x. Either I can write log secant x or I can write minus log cos x. Now in the options I can see both are there, isn't it? So it's better that I start with secant x to be on the safer part. So it will be log secant x. This one will be equal to, in the right hand side, I will use this integral f dash x by f of x formula and I will get log e raised to y plus 2. Of course, I have to add the integration constant, but remember here I have to add log c, not just c, because I have log in all the expressions. When I have log in all the expressions of the equation, then I can use log c because it will be easy for me for further solving of the problem. See, it doesn't make much difference. C is a constant. I am adding, if I am writing log for that c, that log c is also going to become a constant. So it doesn't make much difference, but it makes my answer easy. Log secant x minus log e raised to y plus 2 is equal to log c. Now with the formula of log, I will get secant x by e raised to y plus 2, but that is not there in the option anywhere. So that's why what I am going to do, I will write log secant x as minus log cos x minus log e raised to y plus 2 is equal to log c. Now to remove the minus sign, I wrote log c minus log cos x is equal to log e raised to y plus 2. Now to remove the cos, I can easily do it. I can write c by cos x. Here I have log and this one will be equal to log e raised to y plus 2. My logs will easily get cancelled and I have c by cos x is equal to e raised to y plus 2. Now I can write this as cos x into e raised to y plus 2 is equals to c. So now I have the option A as the correct answer. So this is how we have to predetermine things and then we have to solve the differential equation. Now I have a tip. First, check whether you can separate the variables easily or no in the differential equation. If you can separate the variables easily, then check whether you can easily integrate the differential equation or no. You have to make the equation in such a way that it becomes easy for you. If you can easily integrate, then no problem. If you cannot integrate easily, then you have to go for the substitution method. For example, I have this equation dy by dx is equal to 4x plus y plus 1 whole square. Now it is not easy to separate variables directly for this differential equation. So you have to put 4x plus y plus 1 is equal to z. Now differentiate this equation with respect to x. If you differentiate it with respect to x, you will get dz by dx is equal to 4 into 1 plus 0 plus dy by dx. This will be a differential equation. Now dz by dx can be written as minus 4 is equal to dy by dx. Now substitute it back. You have dy by dx is equal to z square now. Therefore, you can write dz by dx minus 4 is equal to z square, or dz by dx is equal to z square plus 4. Now you can easily separate this differential equation, isn't it? You can easily separate the variables in this differential equation. So you can write it as, if this one will be your step 1, dz by z square plus 4 is equal to dx. Now do for step 2. Your step 2 will be integrating both sides. So integral dz by z square plus 4 is equal to integral dx. Now you have this integral 1 by x square plus a square is equal to 1 by a tan inverse x by a. Or in place of a, just for extra information, if you have 1 by x square plus 1, in place of a, if you have 1, it will just be tan inverse x. Now in our case, we have integral dz by z square plus 2 square. This is a square. This is equal to integral dx. So I can write this as 1 by 2 into tan inverse x by 2 is equal to integral dx will be x plus c. Now this is the equation I have got. I can put my z is equal to 4x plus y plus 1 back into this equation. So it will be, sorry, this was z. So it will become 1 by 2 tan inverse 4x plus y plus 1 by 2, which is equal to x plus c. So this is the solution for this differential equation. I have one more example. 1 minus y into dx is equal to x minus 1 into dy. And the options are x minus 1 into y minus 1 is equals to c, x minus y whole square is equal to c, and the third option is x plus y whole square is equal to c, and the fourth option is x minus 1 into 1 minus y is equals to c. Now I would highly recommend you to pause the video at this point of time and try to solve this sum. Take it as a do it yourself sum and try to solve it. Anyhow, if you are not able to solve, you come back and play the video, you will find the answer here. But at this point of time, you should be able to solve this differential equation very easily. How do you do it? It is very simple actually. I can separate the variables now. I can write it as dx by x minus 1 is equal to dy by 1 minus y. So this was my step 1. Step 2 will be integrated both sides. Integral 1 by x minus 1 into dx is equal to integral 1 by 1 minus y into dy. Now integral 1 by x is log x. So I can write it as log x minus 1 is equal to log 1 minus y into dy. Sorry, not dy. I have to add plus c, the integration constant. Or log x minus 1 is equal to, I can write it as minus of log y minus 1 also. This one will be plus c. I'll take the log terms outside. Actually, I have told you that I cannot write c just like that. When I write c, I have to write log because I have log in the other two expressions also. So it will be log c. Log x minus 1 plus log y minus 1 equal to log c. X minus 1, I can multiply. If I have log a plus log b, I can just multiply it as log a into b. So it will be x minus 1 into y minus 1. Here if I have log, this one will be log c. This gets cancelled and my solution will be x minus 1 into y minus y is equal to c. So the option A will be the right answer. So you have to practice many problems to do it in this simple flow. You will get intuited. You will get intuited when you practice more and more problems. My next example is from the CSIR December 2015 question paper. You have to find the solution for this differential equation. Dx by dt is equal to 2 into root 1 minus x square. You have initial conditions with x is equals to 0 at t is equals to 0. You have to solve this differential equation. Now you have these options, the very scariest options. Anyone will get scared by seeing these options. But this is a very simple sum. So never get scared by seeing the options. Just to see the question and follow your mind. That's all. See, in this equation you have dx by dt is equal to 2 into root 1 minus x square. You start with your variable separable thing and then your answer will only show you the direction where to go. So you have separated for first step, it will be dx by root 1 minus x square. Let me put a constant with dt here like this. Now for the step 2, integrated both sides. If you integrated both sides, you will get integral 1 by root 1 minus x square into dx is equal to 2 integral dt. Now you have this formula, integral 1 by root 1 minus x square dx. This one will be your sine inverse x. Okay. So you just write it here, sine inverse x, and in your right hand side, integral dt will become t plus c. Now use the initial conditions. Initial conditions are given x is 0, t is 0. So I can write 0 in place of x. Sin inverse 0 is equal to 2 into 0 plus c. Now c will become sin inverse 0. Now what can you do for this sin inverse 0? When you have this type of things, you can write 0 as sin 0 because sin 0 is 0. So your answer will be 0. Sin and sin will get cancelled and your answer will be 0. So the value of c will be 0. Now substitute this value of c in this above equation. You get sin inverse x is equal to 2t. Or you send sin on the right hand side, you get x is equal to sin 2t. Seeing the options, you should get in your mind that if you have value of x, one value of x you have, and you have to get that value of y using that value of x. See here, either if your if I take option B, if your x has value 1, then your y, which is t here, should be greater than or equal to pi by 2. Or if you have x as 1, your t will be greater than or equal to pi by 4. Isn't it? Or the other things also may be possible. If your x is equal to sin h 2t, then your t may be greater than or equal to pi by 4. But you are not getting sin h 2t anywhere here. But the options could be B or C. So much intuition you can get at this level, isn't it? Now, you have x is equals to sin 2t. That means you can put x is equals to 1 and C. See, put x is equal to 1. You get sin 2t is equal to 1. So if your sin 2t is equal to 1, I can write 1 as sin pi by 2 because sin 90 is 1. I can cancel the sign from both sides and just take 2t is equal to pi by 2. My t will become pi by 4. See, by putting x is equals to 1 in this equation, I got my value as t is equal to pi by 4. Therefore, if x is equal to sin 2t, when t is equal to 0, and when x is equal to 1, then t is equal to pi by 4. This intuition you have to get while solving the problem. Just by seeing the options only you can decide. You have to take x is equals to 1. Then you get t is equals to pi by 4. Here t may be also equal to pi by 2. You never know. But then your answer will lead you to the right direction. So the option for this question is t is equal to pi by 4 and x is equals to 1. So it is C. Okay students. That's all for today's lecture. So just a quick revision. What we did in this class, we saw what is a differential equation and what is a solution to the differential equation. We discussed about order and degree of a differential equation and types of first order, first degree differential equation. Then we learned how to solve variable separable differential equation of first order and first degree, and we also solved problems based on this. Okay then, let's meet in the next class with applications of variable separable differential equations. Thank you.